Marshall Zellinger, one thing that was inescapable is that here we are in a state in which voters not too long ago decided to reintroduce wolves over the objections of folks in the rural areas who would actually have to live with the wolves. And here again, we're asked to settle a wildlife question at the ballot.
Statewide question for what could be a local issue. And my favorite map from 4 years ago is on the left here. And I say favorite because it gets to the point of the reintroduction of gray wolves. The red areas are basically the parts of the state that were going to be impacted by the gray wolves, and the metro areas with the more population were the ones that voted in favor of it, and it passed. Right now, this is the most up-to-date map we have on 127, the ban on trophy hunting, and so far, given the results that we have, it's mirroring the gray wolves. It is failing 55% right now. It would need just 50% to pass, and we don't have the results of the populated areas that could tick it up a bit. I want to walk over and introduce our panel again, I think for the first time since results are in. And State Senator Byron Pelton, Republican from Sterling, you're well versed in this. Looking at those results over there, what do you think? With the populated areas, the history shows 4 years ago, populated areas are like, oh, let's do it. It's on the ballot. Let's go for it.
I think asking the voters to do ballot box biology is not a good thing to do, and we need to leave it up to the scientists and CPW who work there to do this. So,
what about the idea? We'll bring in State Representative Jennifer Bacon from Denver, from one of the metro areas. The idea of asking statewide voters to decide what might essentially be a local or a localized issue, because clearly this is not something in necessarily Metro Denver that we're necessarily going to have to deal with as much as the mountain counties or the rural counties.
I think our constituents are compelled to vote their values. And even though I represent Denver or Denverites may not live in the mountains, we visit there. We think about being a part of the state in other ways, in other areas. And so, you know, when we had the conversation about wolves in our district, all I did here was, perhaps we should support the animals, right? What does it mean to hunt? And so again, the values question I think is really what pulls at folks' heartstrings. But you know, this is Colorado, you know, and I tend to agree with Senator Pelton. There are things that we need to better understand about the management of the wildlife here so that wherever we go, we will be safe, but also we're not just, you know, spoiling our nature for things that we don't understand.
Alvina Vasquez, Democratic strategist, if you were going to put something on the ballot, can you talk about like what goes into, should we ask voters this? Should we not ask voters this?
I mean, there are strategic questions that you make. The most populated areas will make the decisions for the state. And so when you're building a messaging strategy, you want to get those urban voters, the high dense areas, the information. And so it is the responsibility of both sides of the campaign to hit those populations. And if the rural communities can't get their message out to those dense areas, it's a harder message to get out and, you know, to pass or fail or whatever their goal is.
One last thing, State Senator Barb Kirkmeyer, Republican Brighton. Sometimes ballot issues are, well, oh, the Democrats control the Capitol. Well, we can put something perhaps conservative on the ballot and we'll see how that works. Is this something that the legislature just failed to do and people swooped in and said, well, we'll save it because this is a conservative issue and we should bring it forward?
No, I don't recall us having those types of debates about this issue down at the Capitol. So I think it was outside groups thinking about how do we use the ballot initiative process to further our values throughout the state of Colorado. I mean, I think it just starts demonstrating kind of that whole rural-urban divide that we have occurring in our state at some points on some issues.
Well, we'll update 127 as we get more results. Major metro area counties to give us any results, and we'll update when we return.